Okay, hello and welcome back to the Get to Know podcast, the podcast where, as the title suggests, we get to know someone or something, as you found out from the last episode that we did with the Star Wars one. And I want to start this episode by saying thank you for the response for that. You seem to really enjoy that episode, and it meant a lot. And we're going to be doing a lot more things like that in the future with Marvel. George has already said he wants to come back on and do something like that. And just anything really, and I've spoke about doing things like get to know like murder mysteries or get to know conspiracies, and I want this podcast to go past just guests. That is always going to be its primary focus, the guests, but yeah, I want if I want to do something, I don't want it to be restricted because the fact it is purely just guests. And I want to take this opportunity as well to say thank you for 100 subscribers on the channel. That means a lot. And also, before this episode starts with Blue, we have already recorded this, and the recording corrupted and failed. So we're having to do it again. So if you're watching this, Blue, thank you for being a good sport. He is the first guest to not have a webcam. We'll get into it a little bit later in the podcast. But if you guys know Blue, he has not face revealed. So that's pretty much the reason why. But I hope you can still enjoy the podcast. Obviously, if you're on Spotify, you definitely will. And on YouTube, you still get to see my face. So it's completely fine. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the podcast. So, Blue, welcome to the podcast again. We're here for a second time.
I've never been here before. What do you mean? This is my third time doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The third time I completely forgot about because we did it once. Got 10 minutes in, it had failed. Let me just check all the recording. Make sure everything's fine this time. Yep. We're all good. Okay.
All right. Good. Good.
Okay. Well, let's get into it then. But because you've already answered all the questions, I wanted to go ahead and use a thing that I've not done for a few podcasts, which is called the Hygiene Game.
Hygiene Game? What's that?
Yeah, so you have a big pack of, I think there's 300, 200 cards, all have 3 random questions on, and I don't know what the questions are going to be. So, spices it up a little bit.
Yeah, I like that.
Right, so what questions do we have? I'll pick out a random card. Okay, first one. Oh, what is your favourite guilty pleasure?
Oh, that's a mean one. You know what? It's asshole humor. Not as in I find assholes funny, but it's I find the worst things funny sometimes, and it's I hate that I find it funny, but obviously I find it funny, so I enjoy it. So, have you ever watched the film The Pianist?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know that scene, that scene where the Nazis throw the old guy in the wheelchair out the window?
Yeah.
That absolutely killed me the first time I saw it. I was in history class and we were watching it, and the history teacher was so serious about it, and we saw that scene and I just died laughing on the first row, and he just stood up and said, get out, and he sent me out for the rest of the lesson. Oh no, it's that kind of asshole humor. I find it so funny sometimes when just horrible things happen. Not no one dies, but it's just this guy's had it bad enough in life and he gets more shit.
Well, that's fair enough. Okay, so next question on the card is, if you could spend a whole day with any person, who would it be?
Oh man, that's a good one. That is a really good one. It's that questions that I got just incorporated some of it in.
Right.
To the way I do kind of my Blue reviews, and I still do reviews when I can, but kind of funny moments are taken over. But like, I would spend the day with Angry Joe because I feel like he could teach me so much about like games and like we could argue on like which games because we kind of had the same game taste as well. Like he really likes Mass Effect and he thinks Mass Effect 2 is the best game of all time, and so do I. So it's like I would just like sit there all day with him, like in his little apartment, maybe on his stream, and just nerd out with him. I think that'd be so fun.
Well, to be fair, that could technically be like a obtainable person to spend a day with, or just even like a call or
Maybe,
something.
yeah. Maybe I can do a whole Make-A-Wish thing, and like if I'm dying, I can meet him.
I mean,
But I
I meant
don't.
maybe more through YouTube, but
Oh yeah, maybe yeah. I mean yeah. No, but like they used to have like vlogs of like Angry Joe and like he'd hang out with Boogie 2988 and like a bunch of the other like couple million subs of content creators back then. They used to have just a good time at these Comic Cons instead of every con there's some sort of fucking drama. Like it was back in the
yeah,
good old days where they just used to have fun at the Comic Con, then go back to someone's house and hit the beers, have a party. Like, oh man, I wish I could have been in that atmosphere. I
Hmm.
don't know if it still goes on. I mean, maybe, but it's always like, oh, something's gone down. But like, I don't know. Angry
yeah,
Joe's like the classic person that like I just really want to hang out with.
yeah. That's fair enough. Okay, and then the final question on the card is: what is the one consistent factor linking your friends, despite how different they may be in other ways?
What like and like all my friends kind of throughout my life, I
Yeah,
guess.
like a common factor
Oh,
in your friends, I guess.
um, I think like the common factor amongst all the people like I consider friends because like when I see someone whether it's online or in real life I kind of read them, I read how they talk or type, or like I kind of get a sense who they are almost immediately.
Mm.
I call them my people, and when I recognize my people, I make the effort to be friends with them because I know we'll get on well. And my people, I guess the common characteristic in all of them is integrity. Like deep down, I know they're all good people. I know one guy who's like slightly sexist, but it's like, but deep down, he's a good guy, and he just has obtuse opinions sometimes, and like there's these other people that I super opinionated, but again, deep down they're good people, and just like they're not assholes, like you know it's just like surface level stuff that they do sometimes, even just for shock value or whatever. But
Mm.
no, like amongst all my friends, like is integrity, because like the closest friends that like I know, like I'll share my secrets with, like my
Yeah.
face, my name, and I know they'll keep them because they have integrity to keep them. And no matter like out of all the friends I've ever made, even the ones I'm not friends with anymore, or the front ones I've fallen out with, have never like revealed my face or my name and stuff because they
Mm.
have the integrity to do that. They have the respect for me, the respect for our friendship or what it once was and stuff, to keep my secrets. But yeah, I would say integrity. I see that out in people, and if people don't have integrity, I'm like, nuh-uh, go away. I ain't interested.
Yeah.
But that's a really good question. I really like that one.
Yeah, I need to whip it out more on the podcast. The
Yeah,
game.
I really like that.
Yeah, I think it's good as well because like I don't know what the questions are going to be. Like I have all the other questions completely planned out, so it makes it a bit random.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Feel free to
Well.
throw a couple in later.
Yeah. Maybe
Like,
maybe we'll whack out another card later.
yeah, yeah.
So okay. Well, we'll get onto YouTube then. YouTube. How long have you been doing it for now?
So, YouTube, I have been doing for about 5 years now. I started it actually a few days before my birthday, because I remember I was in school, like kind of since year seven all the way through to year 12. People were like, our school we were all very interested in YouTubers, right? Like it was the kind of main source of entertainment. We loved watching them. It's classic back then because there was just no drama. There was just content and entertainment, right? And we just
Mm.
enjoyed it so much. And everyone was like, "Oh, I want to be the next YouTuber," but no one would follow through on it. No one knew how to do it. And I was really interested in these YouTubers as well, but I kind of liked a different crowd to everyone else. Everyone liked PewDiePie, I liked Angry Joe, although I do like PewDiePie as well. But I was like, kind of a few days before my 18th birthday, I was like, right, fuck it. I'm gonna do it. So I went out, I did some big up research on YouTube. I was like, what microphone do I buy to record my voice on videos? And it was like this I saw this one guy is like, use the blue snowball. I'm like, right, snowball, Amazon, where is it? Bought it. And it was like, continued a couple more seconds in the video. It's like, you'll also want an Elgato capture card. Right, Amazon, Elgato capture card. And I was like, buying it pretty much as he said it. I bought those, they arrived, and then like a couple of days before my birthday, I started recording, and it all kind of began from there. Like I didn't really even have an editing software at first. Like, I just kind of used to cut them up on the Elgato recording software editor, which is like very, very extremely basic. Like you can do one thing, and that's cut clips, and that is all you can do. You can like cut out loading screens, and that is it. The rest is raw gameplay. And I was like running it on my shitty laptop, so the footage would mess up sometimes. But it was like, I was just starting out. I was finding my feet, and I had a dream, and I kept at it because I was like, well, the one thing that kind of like struck me back then, because I was like, I don't want to be one of these people that starts YouTube and then just gives up. So like I did like a bunch of research, like including it's obviously all the gear and stuff. And one of the videos I found actually is I don't know if you've ever seen it. I really recommend it. It's quite an old video now. It's like maybe 10 years old, I think. But it's why most small gaming channels fail, by the Black Hokage. I think he might be called something else now. I think he changed his name, but he did like a really fantastic video on like why most gaming channels fail. And it's like they have a lack of vision, or they don't know what they want to do. So it's like I was like, okay, I want to do blue reviews when I start my channel. That's what I know I want to do, and this is where I want to go. This is my goal for it, and I did look at just a shit ton of research. I knew what I wanted to do, and I searched it up and made sure that like I wasn't one of those gaming channels that was going to give up. And like another reason I kind of not found but kind of figured out myself is that a lot of people like they try and do it for free, right? Because a lot of people trying to start YouTube are young kids, 13 years old. They don't have money, they don't have a job. Maybe they have some pocket money, but from when I was a kid, everyone's pocket money was vastly different. Like my friend David would get £1 a week, I would get £20 a month. Like some people would get 100 quid a week. I knew this one kid who'd get a new game every week. It was crazy, but like, yeah, his parents were rich. He was a good guy though. But yeah, so. I've realised the main reason people give up is because they're like, oh well, I haven't spent anything on YouTube, so I've not really lost anything, so I can give up whenever I want. And so I was like, right, I'm just gonna go all in straight away. I dropped the 179 quid on an Elgato capture card. I dropped 50 quid on like a fucking blue snowball. Like, I was like 220 quid in this thing as soon as I started, and so it was really frustrating for me when footage kept corrupting. I couldn't figure the fuck out what I was doing, but it put me in feet first. I jumped in the deep end. I've made purchases over time, got more gear, got more equipment, and here I am today. I know I was like, how long have you been doing YouTube? But kind of went off on that one.
Well, that's like what I was gonna say after you finished. That was like that's really like balls to the wall, like not even a single video, and you've already bought all the equipment. Because like I know for me, one thing I always say to people is don't do that. Like, I was like, because you might then do it and be like, well, actually, I don't want to do it, and then you just spent all that money. But I mean. It worked, so
yeah. I mean, well, I didn't get everything straight away at first. I mean, like at the very very start, it was my laptop and my capture card. So I dropped 179 on the capture card, and then a few weeks later, I got a snowball, and I only got this big gaming PC like fucking last year. And like I had like a previous gaming PC, but that was just a bag of shit. Like I had tech difficulties throughout YouTube. It's such a fucking nightmare. But I'm finally got like this PC. Like I got the keyboard, I got the monitors. Like I got my, I only bought this PS4 like last year as well that I got for playing with the Winkies and stuff. Like I didn't get everything at the start, but like the first purchase I made, was a big one. So I was kind of in the deep end straight away. Because because I knew it was what I wanted to do. I don't recommend it to people because, unless you really know you want to do it. Because, hey,
Yeah.
you might be like, I just enjoy playing games. You might not like sharing it with people. Or if you do like sharing it with people, maybe you're just into streaming, might not be into recording, editing, uploading, because there's more to YouTube than just playing the games. You've got to be
Yeah.
passionate about every little bit of it. And even I'm sometimes like, oh fuck editing, but sometimes you enjoy it. So yeah, I don't recommend it, but that's how I got started anyway.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. I mean, that's kind of, there's two ways to go about it, isn't it? There's like test the waters, or let's just go balls to the wall and do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's fair enough. So the name Doctor Bloo, where did that come from?
Yeah. So back when I started YouTube, I originally just kind of had like an Xbox, and I just put my name as the gamer tag, and I was like, that's crap. Changed it eventually because I wanted to stop doxing myself online, to like Nightforge, which was I guess I thought it was cool at the time, but it wasn't. Then I changed it again to Forge Master, and I was like, I kept changing my gamer tag, and I was like, I don't like that I keep changing my gamer tag because I keep dropping like 10 quid to change this fucking gamer tag every time. So I want to change it once more, but to something I actually like and I'm not going to change. And so I was like, right, well, I'll do it like how people do tattoos, right? Because people get tattoos, you have them for life, so you got to be able to fucking like it. So I was like, I'll do that. I'll have it mean something to me. So the doctor part was originally because I was going to get a doctorate. Because obviously I started uni. I started YouTube when I was in uni. No, just a bit before uni actually. But I was in uni for most of my YouTube, I guess, career, if you want to call it something. And so I was like, I'll go for a doctorate. I got in 1 year into criminology, and I was like, fuck that, I'm not doing this. I just want to get my 3 years and get out. So I didn't end up following through with that. But then I had Blue, which was Doctor Blue. It was originally like the color blue, like BLUE, not BLOO, because it was my favorite color and it was the name of my dog. Blue, we had her for like 16 years. Lovely border collie. She never harmed a fly, and she was so goofy. She passed away sadly in 2018, but no, she was a lovely dog. And then I did have 99 on it. It was originally Doctor Blue 99. And the 99 was because of my favourite number and the little 99 ice cream flake that you can get out of ice cream vans. It was just an ice cream and a flake. It's only 99p, very affordable, very basic, but it's vanilla. And I like vanilla. It's one of my favourite flavours, although it's basic. I like it. You can't go wrong, right? So, yeah, that's originally what it all was. I ended up dropping the 99 because I kind of kept doing research even after I started YouTube, and people were like, oh, you've got to make it something memorable, and I was like, well, the 99 makes it a bit less memorable. So
Yeah.
And then I kept coming up in the search results. I would search Doctor Blue on YouTube, I'd get lots of veterinarian videos. And I was like, well, I'm not really into injecting dogs up the arse, so I'll just change it to something else. And so I eventually changed it to Doctor Blue with the duos, because, well, first of all, I'd actually have my own presence on the internet instead of being logged in with these veterinarians, and also it's cute. So that's why I changed it. But
Yeah, I think we all started with numbers. I had a MXZ 634.
Yeah.
Did Dan might have? I mean, Dan's old name was Dan the Man, like 910 or something.
No, that's his PS4 gamer tag. His original YouTube one was Southern Fried Dan, which I actually think is a pretty good name, but he thinks it's cringe. But, that's actually a pretty good name.
Yeah. Well, so along with the with the name, you've got your little character. So where did the idea and concept come behind the character, and what was the reason behind it?
Yeah, so obviously as I was doing kind of my research throughout YouTube, I was coming across a lot of people, and this Black Akagi guy was like, you got to be memorable, you got to be different. And I was like, yeah, you know what, I do. And I came across a couple of other videos, and people were like, if you're gonna go for an avatar, don't just be some guy in a hoodie with a controller and stuff, because it's basic. And I was like, you know what, it is fucking basic, and everyone fucking does it. There's lots of my sister's does digital art, right? She does commissions sometimes, and she's done quite a lot for a lot of female gamers, and they all are themselves in like a grey shirt, blue jeans, with a controller and a headset, and they all do the exact same thing. Person, which is them with gaming gear, and I was like, that's
Mm.
boring. I don't want to be that. I want to be something else. So I used to play this game a lot called Battle Block Theatre. Oh my god, that game! It was such a good game. Like I played it with my friend Epix the Panda, and like we were almost not friends by the end of it. Like it was a tough game, but it was a really good one. I really enjoyed it. And eventually we beat it. When you beat it, you get this like big trophy on your back of your little character. You get little small characters, and you can choose from like a variety of like different heads, and you can choose the color of your character. So I chose blue because I like blue is my favorite color, and I liked this little circle head that you could get, which looked like eyeball. And the big trophy on the back was like, I actually kind of like that because it looks like he's carrying something around. But I was like, I don't want it to be a trophy. I want it to be kind of around my doctor thing. So I'll put a big needle on his back because before that I had just text in my profile picture. So I was like, Doctor Blue. I actually had one at one point where I was like, I had Doctor Blue, and the O in Doctor had like a stethoscope in its ears, and it was like reading the heartbeat of like the letter D next to it. It's actually pretty cool, really creative.
Yeah.
I really like it. Yeah, I was like, I need a character, so I'll take this little eyeball guy I have in Battle Block Theatre. I'll stick a needle on his back, and I'll use him. Because at the time, like I was really into the commentary community kind of scene. So like Keemstar, Pyrocynical, Leafy is here. Like I was really into that commentary style, and I even have like a commentary video of my channel of the first time that I used the eyeball character. And because in Battle Block Theatre you can have lots of little poses, like when he's blowing up, he's kind of like reaching out to the stars and stuff, or like when he goes idle, he crosses his arms and taps his foot. Like I grabbed loads of little screen grabs of him in different poses, used them as character stills, and talked about this commentary. And then over time, like I kind of developed him. I dropped the stethoscope, but I still carry the needle sometimes. And that's kind of how he came about, like little Battle Block Theatre. And I recommend it actually. If anyone kind of wants to get an avatar that's decent, it's free, and you can get lots of poses for him straight away. Like if you want to use him in different like moods, you can go onto Battle Block Theatre and you can make a character there and just do loads of different actions. Like I do actually recommend it. It's a good little starting character creation system that I don't think a lot of people know about.
Is there anything that you kind of want to like do with the character? I remember you saying in, I think it might have been your year review or something, saying how you wanted to do like an explanation of like his past as like a character. And
yeah.
Is there anything like? Is there anything cool that you'd want to do with him? Like, could you imagine like an animated like short series or anything like that with your character?
Oh my god, yes, yeah, I would absolutely fucking love to do that. Like, I would absolutely have him in an animated series. I think that'd be really cool. But at the moment, like whenever I kind of put on the character, like he does well. Like I've got this little channel trailer on my channel, like kind of I pretend to be the character, and I kind of give him this persona where he's got like he's really big headed. He thinks he's all that, but he's kind of pathetic in some ways. So it's like in the video, I've got like we've got a video here featuring Doctor Blue with his friends, but mainly Doctor Blue, and they're all having fun, but mainly Doctor Blue. Like it focuses like on himself so much. I want to do like a kind of lore video behind him, like LORE, not LAW, like a lore video of like kind of how he came to Earth, why he's creating videos, what planet is he from, and like, I already have the planet, it's Idania, but he's going to be like a scientist and a spaceship crashed to Earth and making videos, and like he's left all his people behind. He's trying to raise enough money as a content creator so he can build a ship and fly back. But yeah, I really want to do lots of lore videos for him. I think that'd be really cool. An animated series would be awesome, but like I don't know. Well, I do know people talented enough to do that, but it costs like a fortune, and you have to have the connections. So maybe one day with the animated series, but like I do want to do like little kind of maybe minute-long shorts of like lore and where he's from, and like little episodes about him. And I kind of did a mini version of that with a channel trailer. It did really well, and I think even an animated one would do. fantastically, and I'd probably be my favorite video as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, I want to take him places, man. I really do. I want to like make a cosplay of him and stuff, like have like a big mask and a blue like kind of suit, and like when people are like, oh, how are you gonna eat in that? I'm like, I'm gonna extend my arm out of the neck hole, grab the burger, bring it back inside the costume, and consume it there. Like he has like a fucking like tongue arm thing that comes out of his neck and grabs food, and that's how it'll be. I'll take a little needle around with me, and it'll be my backpack. I'll have a zip on it or something. So yeah, no, I got ideas of places I want to take him,
Mm.
but it's just having the practicality and the means to do it at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you saw the little animation that I got for my 2020 like best moments, and
No, I
and
haven't seen that.
yeah, so I started it with just like a little like 1 minute animation. I'm a little bit gutted because I didn't have my TV character at the time, so it's just like me, but
Mm.
animated. But it's still cool. But I was looking around and on like Fiverr and stuff, people were like, yeah, for a minute of animation, it'll be like 1,400 and all this.
Oh, I
Like
know.
it's insane.
Yeah,
But yeah,
even
yeah,
the one I found is like 100 quid. It's like yeah, but I've seen the one you're talking about, like 1,500 quid for like a minute
yeah.
long. It's like super high quality, but like
Mm,
yeah, bro, like no,
yeah,
I
it's
cannot
crazy.
afford that.
Yeah. So, well, obviously, the main reason that you have the character behind the channel and the name is because you haven't had a face reveal. So, is there any reason behind that?
Yeah, there is actually. I mean, it goes a little bit dark, if that's okay. Kind of a bit of a warning to people watching as well.
Mm,
Um, yeah, no. Kind of growing up, I had a bit of a rough childhood. I had a dad who wasn't very nice to me. Used to kind of say mean things to me, and threaten me with physical violence and stuff like that. Which wasn't very cash money at the time. Um, but like all those comments, I put up with it for a long time, right?
mm,
Like I put up with it to the point I was 17, and the reason kind of I put up with it for so long was because it like when you hear yourself being insulted, called this, called that, day after day, as a kid, you're very impressionable and you start to believe it, right? You
mm,
start to believe, oh, yeah, I must be, right? Because, I've got no one saying otherwise. And, the one person who is saying it every day is supposed to be one of the people closest to me. And if they believe it,
yeah,
then I should too. And, it got to me. And eventually, when I was 17, I was like, right, I've fucking had enough of this. I'll stand up for myself. But like it kind of resulted in me not having very high self-esteem, um and I don't really know how, but I guess I kind of somewhere along the way developed body dysmorphia disorder, which isn't as bad as it sounds. It's just kind of like a mental thing. It's not like it's not like a Frolic syndrome or brittle bone disease or anything like that. It's not physical, it's mental. It's where you kind of see yourself in the mirror every day, and you don't see yourself in the mirror every day. You sometimes see someone else, or sometimes you see someone who's so ugly. You're like, how can anyone love that? How can anyone like that? Um, and it's like, it's not even just days. You don't even just sometimes have good days. Like you can be having a day and then see yourself later on and be like, oh, what the fuck is that? And where did it come from? And yeah, so kind of seeing myself every day, kind of confirming that I am like terribly ugly, and believing all the things that my dad says. It resulted in me not having a lot of self-esteem, and so I don't really like to show who I am online because I'm not happy with myself as a person. I'm not happy with the way I look. um I send videos and photos to people, and usually I have to take about 70 fucking photos before I find the one that I have to actually send. um but yeah, and with all that and me thinking so low of myself, I think if I posted who I was on the internet, and I got one, even just one hater saying, "Wow, you're ugly as fuck. You should have stayed, hidden." I
mm,
might break. It might, get to me more than it probably should. So I'm kind of waiting to do a face reveal. I do eventually want to do one. I think it'd be really cool, and it would like
yeah,
open me up to a lot of silly content that I think would be really funny. Um, but at the moment, I'm just not comfortable with who I am. And then once, maybe eventually one day when I get comfortable with who I am and I like the way I look and that I'm confident in myself, then maybe I'll do a face reveal, and that might be nice. But until that day, like I'm gonna kind of hold it because people have asked me, Doctor Blue, when are you gonna do a face reveal? For a
Yeah.
million subs, 10 million subs, 100,000 subs. I'm like, no, it's not based on any number. It's
Mm.
based on when I feel good about myself. Like if I'd have started my YouTube channel, gained 10 subs, and I'd have fixed all my problems right there, I'd have face revealed at 10 subs.
Mm.
It's not required for any certain number. It's about how I feel about myself. And that's kind of why, I guess. It gets a little dark, but that's why I haven't face revealed.
Yeah. Well, I guess I think as not only working on yourself, well, that is the main bit, obviously working on yourself. But
Mm.
does it not worry you that because I feel like no matter how you would look, like I think you're a beautiful man, Blue, and
Thank you.
if like the best looking people, they're still getting comments telling them just because that's how the internet is. So does that kind
Yeah.
of worry you a bit, or
Oh
what?
yeah, yeah. It's a constant worry of mine, and as you say, yeah, even the best looking people get people being horrible to them or people being nasty to them, and they can deal with that because they have so many people telling them they're beautiful. They have so many people telling them they're amazing, and stuff like that, and they believe it themselves as well.
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, like I have to be able to believe it myself. So if I see people kind of online just confirming what I already know, it would like kind of break me a little bit.
yeah.
Even when people tell me now, like, you tell me, oh, you're a beautiful man. Like, I appreciate you saying it, but deep down, like in my heart of hearts, I don't believe it. It's not that I don't believe you; it's that I don't believe it about myself. Because it's tough for me to be able to. It's like I've got two voices in my head. Like one, has all the negative stuff, and one has all the good stuff. And there's an argument between. There's constant argument. They always bring up evidence and
Mm,
stuff. And it's like the good guy never really has enough evidence, and the bad guy is like, there's all these things that happened in your life, and it didn't work out here and here and here and here. So why would it continue to work out? So don't do it.
mm,
So it's kind of getting. It's just trying to get to the point where I have enough evidence for the good guy that he can beat the bad guy. So yeah, it's a constant worry of mine.
yeah.
But I've just got to get to a point where I believe it about myself.
Yeah. I think you'll get there. I think as well it's kind of a process of like building the confidence to do it. Like
Yeah.
maybe like seeing other people or not necessarily face revealing to other people, but like yeah, kind of just along those lines of just building it up slowly.
Yeah, it's to be able to prove to myself that I am a decent person. And it's just the only way to be able to do that is to go through life and to go through experiences and
Mm,
hopefully try and have some good ones. So I can say to the bad guy, he'll be like, oh well, you failed this time. I'm like, hey, but it worked out over
mm,
here. So what do you got? You know.
yeah.
So it's a work in process. It's something I'm continuing to work on. That's why I try and go to the gym. That's why I'm trying to experiment with the hair. That's why I try and get like cool shirts. Like today, I'm wearing a shirt that's like got the Supreme logo, but instead of Supreme, it says Thought. Like, I really like shit like that. So yeah, it's a work in process. It's nothing that can be rushed or fixed instantly, sadly.
Mm, yeah. Well, I think you'll get there eventually, and
I hope so.
I hope the people get to see your lovely face one day.
One day.
So we'll move on to a bit of a lighter subject. Your group or our group, I should say, the Winkies.
Yeah.
So what was that your first YouTube group?
No. So, obviously, I've been doing YouTube 5 years. I've been in quite a few groups. Originally, kind of when I started, I told you about my friend Alex the Panda that I played Battle Blocks Theatre with. He was kind of the first guy that I met on YouTube. I actually met him through Omegle because like I didn't know about YouTube Talk. I didn't know about any of these collaboration sites. I didn't know where to look for people, so I kind of just put on Omegle. I put my interest with YouTube, and I met
Mm.
him. Back when he was like the gaming Firefly or something stupid that I'd still tease him about. His old motto or slogan was like "Join the Fly Squad," and so every so often I say to him, "Join the Fly Squad," to tease him, wind him about it. I'm still friends with him to this day, but no, he introduced me to like a bunch of people. He had like 200 subs at the time. I had like 30 or 50, I think. So I was mega small. I was kind of starstruck that this guy was even willing to talk to me at the time. And he introduced me to like a bunch of people like Spazzy W, Tony Rain, Tina Rain, who was like Tony Rain's wife at the time, and Chico, and just a bunch of other people. And eventually all them gave up, and it was only me doing it. Epics and I still stayed friends, but he kind of gave up on YouTube. And he was kind of on and off throughout the years and never really stayed consistent. So eventually I went looking and I found another group on YouTube Talk, which was kind of a bunch of people that we kind of accrued over time. There was Sir Rapturous, there was Patrick or Kogum, you might know him, he's still around. And there was Hess YT, and then there was Lich Jordan. And then we had like a bunch of other people in that group that eventually kind of like faded away. But those are kind of the main few. And then, we didn't fall out with Jordan, but he kind of stopped talking to us and went a bit off the rails and sub-botted. And I'm not really a fan of people who don't get me started on sub-botting as well, by the way. I'll never stop because, oh my God, I used to be such a bright little detective about sub-botting. I'd fucking find people out who did it. I even caught a couple, I didn't report them anywhere. I was just made them feel awful about themselves. Like, you've cheated. How dare you? I like worked my ass off for this and you cheated. But yeah. So Rapturous, he unfortunately gave up on content, but he's a really nice guy actually. I'm still friends with him, although we don't speak anymore. Hest YT kind of gave up as well, and then Patrick is kind of on and off now as well. He uploaded actually just the other week, but it's kind of every so months in between. So yeah, that group kind of fell apart, and towards the end it was kind of getting toxic. And towards the end, I kind of found the Winkies on YouTube Tour. I saw Dan's post anyway, and I was like, I need to get out of this group I'm in. Let me try and contact these guys. So I contacted Dan. He was like, "Oh, join the Discord server, mate." And I was like, "Okay." I don't know how the fuck I did it, but I somehow managed to join Dan's personal server. The independent variables, or whatever the fuck it's called. But then, no, I eventually somehow got to the Winkies Discord after that. Hung around for a while, played in sessions with them because they actually, gave me a chance, which was really nice of them. Got to know each of them. Like, had a big talk with one of them at the start. Got to know Kyle over a bit of time and had fun and games with him. And it's like he's getting to the point where, there was 3 of them at the time, and they were like, "Oh, we need a 4th person." And like, because when they invited me to the group chat, I got to read kind of back because it lets you read past the point you joined. Yeah. So I got to read back, and like Dan was like, "Oh, guys, we've only got 3. Do we want a 4th?" And Kyle's just like, "Get Blue." And I'm like, "Oh, Kyle wanted to get me." It's just like a load of posts like that I really like reading back over. And so I kept playing with them, and then Dan and Wad kind of gave me a trial by fire at one point, or trial by ordeal, because they were like, "Okay, we want to see how this guy deals with kind of bad humor. So let's just be, well, I probably shouldn't say this on the podcast, but like, let's be, as bad as we can, like make the worst jokes possible." And they, oh my God, bro, it was so uncomfortable. But I was just kind of like, oh my God, like, can't believe you guys. Like, I tried to fucking laugh with them and stuff. And I guess I passed or whatever. And then in April of 2020, I officially became a Winky after being in the server for about 4 months. And I'm kind of a regular now. I'm kind of a staple of the group, actually. I feel, because I started out as a newbie that nobody knew, and I feel like I'm a kind of core member of the group now. Like I feel like I've made my place in there. So no, the Winkies isn't my first group. But it is by far the best group I've been in, because the thing is, I get on with everyone, and everyone's my age as well, and we all are committed as fuck, right? Like, people have breaks. I've had a break. Wad's had a break. I think Dan's even had a break at some point. I don't know. Yeah, Kyle sometimes have breaks. I don't know if you've had any breaks. Probably over the course of how long you've been doing YouTube. At some point.
At some point, yeah.
But we always come back to it. We're always, encouraging each other, lifting each other up. There's none of this like toxic fake bullshit, fake happiness or anything. It's like, it's actual like real friends just playing games and having fun. So no, Winkies isn't my first group, but it's definitely like the best group I've been in so far.
Yeah, definitely. So well, back to your sort of personal channel. You do a lot of things on there. You do funny moments, you do reviews, tips. What, for you personally, what would be kind of the dream scenario of content that you're creating on your channel?
Oh, the dream scenario. I mean, I kind of got my growth from funny moments because when I joined the Winkies, I was at like 500, and then I started posting to TikTok, and I got a
Mm.
PS4 because they were posting TikTok and they were all on PS4, and that's kind of when I started blowing up. I started blowing up on funny moments, to the point where I am now. And so I kind of felt obligated to keep doing funny moments. And TikTok, obviously, you know how the algorithm is,
Yeah.
probably better than anyone, I imagine. And you have to upload to it pretty much every day. And so when you're editing funny moments every day, and with the YouTube meta the way it is now, where subtitles are the way to go, like I'm
Mm.
editing funny moments every day, and then I don't have time for anything else. But the dream scenario for me is like with my Blue reviews and my baby. Like that's really what I want to be known for eventually. And
Mm.
my dream scenario is to kind of have like a big early review copy of a game, like a big AAA game, like Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor or something like that. Like if they release another game, they send me
Mm.
a review copy early, so I can get my
Mm.
review on there, and then they can put like on the Steam page or on the game trailer, like 4.5 stars, a great game by Doctor Blue. Like that,
Mm.
that would be really cool to like, be,
Yeah.
how IGN does it, like, oh, I love this game, but instead of IGN, it's Doctor Blue. That would be the dream scenario because I already had one review copy of an indie game that was really cool because that was the Night Squad thing. That was awesome. That was a big step for me.
Mm.
But to have like a big AAA company recognize me like that and give me a
Yeah.
review copy, like that's the dream. Like after that, I don't care what I do on YouTube because that's like the dream scenario for me.
Mm. So Blues reviews. Talk me through like the process of doing that. Well, I know you say you don't really do it as much anymore, but what's the process of like making a review video, a review on a game?
Long. So, first of all, I go through the game. What I used to do actually, I used to do playthrough videos of the game. So I'd do 45-minute gameplay videos with barely any editing, with cut out loading screens that would get 5 views a video that no one gave a single fuck about, and that I felt guilty uploading. I used to upload them twice a day, even just to try and get them out of the way.
Mm.
Eventually, I stopped doing that and I started streaming them instead, which is definitely the way to go, because people can interact with it. It's a lot more
Mm.
fun. I can talk to viewers, makes for some funny moments as well. So what I'll do is I'll go through and stream a game, and then every so often, when I see something that I want to note down and I want to remember for the review, because I'm forgetful, I'll write it down in my little like notepad or something. I'll write like a timestamp of where the stream is at, so I know where to go to get it. And I'll go through that until I completed the game. Then I'll kind of, put together a script for it using all the points that I've written down. And then in editing, I'll go back to those timestamps, grab the clips I need, and put them in the review so I can show my points. So, like, this boss is too hard, he's broken. And then I can show a clip of how broken the boss is. So it's like he's inspired a little bit by Angry Joe. He does the same
Yeah.
thing. Like, he doesn't do it as many clips as I do, but he does like prove his points, when he's talking about it. So it's not just hearsay. He proves his points with clips from stream. I still
Mm.
have some work to do on them because sometimes I feel like they're a bit boring. So I really kind of want to spice them up in whatever ways I can, even maybe make them shorter and more digestible.
Mm.
And maybe, be a bit more picky with the clips so that it's not, going to 90 minutes or, I've got a Shadow of War review that's like almost 2 hours long or almost 3 hours long or something.
Jeez.
So I included so many clips. But
Hmm.
the thing is, I'm proud of that though. Like, because I scripted and wrote the entire thing, and I even used the script for that to get my job now.
Mm.
Um, but like that's what I eventually kind of want to do. I want to refine it, get them down to a shorter length, make them more entertaining, and be known for the reviews.
Mm.
But yeah, the process is long. Sometimes it gets so long to the point where I just don't have time for it with the funny moments, or I kind of get bored of it sometimes. So like Cyberpunk, I played through entirety of that game, and I never reviewed it because sometimes I'll review it. I'll play a game through, I'll go to review it, and then by the time I'm like done playing through it, the game is irrelevant already, and
Mm.
it's like I could put the review out, but no one might watch it. My little fans might, but the kind of big thing about the reviews was if I could get them out for a game early enough, when people would search for that game on the day it came out, I would be one of the first results that came up.
Mm.
It's not all about the numbers, of course, but it does help when people who are passionate about the game and search it up find your review on it, and they can, talk through your thoughts with you.
Yeah, definitely. I think one way that I don't know if
Team,
it's a
I'm
possibility
gonna try
now,
to.
but like I feel like a lot of these big reviewer teams, like it's a team, you know. Like maybe you've got people scripting, you've got someone being the commentator, the edit or the editor. It's like a full production for a lot of these reviews. Yeah.
Balance it in between funny moments where I can.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think one option that I know we spoke about last time when we did this podcast was, getting to a point with the funny moments where you could maybe get a second channel and having just a Blue Reviews channel. And I think that would work just really well.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I remember you brought it up last time because you have multiple channels and stuff like that, and it would separate out the content. Because I mentioned how I feel guilty uploading them sometimes because it's not what people want to see. But the thing is, I mean, I gave it a big think. I really thought about that, and I definitely want to make a second channel. Even just if the Doctor Blue channel gets shut down, I can just have Doctor Red. I can put that channel up immediately, post one video saying if this channel ever gets shut down, like if Doctor Blue ever gets shut down, come here so that I can still talk to you guys, still let you know what's going on, provide updates on where I'm getting Doctor Blue with, if I'm getting it back and stuff like that. So I definitely want to make that in case Doctor Blue ever gets nuked. But yeah, I mean, I uploaded the Night Squad guide video, which I was like, this is gonna flop. People aren't gonna care about a guide. They just want funny moments. And the same with Fall Guys as well, because I was like, Fall Guys funny moments. No one cares about the game. People just want COD. And although COD does get more views, the Fall Guys thing still got like 400 views. And the Night Squad video has 4K. It's like number one out of my last 10 videos. Like the COD video I uploaded recently was number one, but it's number two now because it just can't compete because it got 4K so quickly. So it's like I thought about it, but it's starting to kind of get to the point where people will watch me for me, which is a really good feeling. No matter what I play, like even Beast Inside, when I streamed that as a horror game, people loved that. People loved watching me get scared. Like at one point I get chased by the ghost and I start screaming and I just scream like, "Ah, like don't hurt me." And people do watch me just not just for COD. So I've thought about it. I will make a second channel definitely, but I don't know if I'll exclusively post Blue reviews on there. Maybe I'll make like a poll for it in like the little tab you have in the once you pass 1,000 subscribers. I don't even know if I have access to that actually. They might change the rules, but maybe I'll post a poll in there, see what people say, if they do want Blue reviews on a specific channel, because you made some good points about it. And it's definitely something I'm going to create, but I don't know if I'm going to split the content up yet.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think at the minute, at least with sort of the size of the channel and things, I don't know if it would completely make sense. But yeah, I think it's definitely something to consider in the future. Definitely. Yeah. So right. Yeah, so we're going to move on to a little thing that I did with Wadism. We made a gaming tier list. So I've been on your channel. I've taken a bunch of games that you've played. I think there's like 15 or so, and we're going to rank them. So you've got your top rank, which is GOAT. You've got your second rank, which is amazing. You've got your third rank, which is alright. You've got your second to last, which is meh. And you've got your last one, which is trash. Just straight awful games. So, let's get straight into it. Cold War. Where are you putting Cold War?
Cold War is T-Rash. I mean, like, the campaign, I haven't finished. It might be fun, but the multiplayer is just horrible. I mean, the zombies is kind of fun. Sorry, excuse the very loud car outside. I like the gunplay, but it's just another shooty Call of Duty with nothing changed. So, trash.
Trash, okay. That was an easy one. We'll go with Warzone.
Warzone is a bit better because, like, at least they are doing different things and, like, people appreciate the old campaign remaster, but it is still pretty bad. So I would put it meh, just because I'm putting it above Cold War. If there was a tier below trash, I would put Cold War there, and I would put Warzone in trash. But yeah, it's meh.
Yeah. Okay. Next we have I've already done Warzone. Next we have Raft, a little game.
Raft is a good little game, to be fair. The only thing is it's a survival game, and with survival games, you either love them or you hate them because there's a lot of grinding, it's a lot of work. Sometimes it
Mm.
doesn't feel like fun, but I personally enjoy it. So I would say it's an amazing game. I actually really
Yeah,
like it, and I hope they continue to develop it.
yeah, fully. You gave me quite a shot of nostalgia when I saw you upload it because I remember playing the game when it was like very, very early development and it was a free little indie game on like itch.io. Um,
Yeah, I
and
love
I
that
played
site.
that like 5, maybe 6 years ago. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching your video on that.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
good little game. We had a lot of fun on it.
yeah, definitely. Okay, next we have Roblox.
Ugh, well, Roblox. Roblox is one of those games that is so bad it's good. Because the thing is, it's so exploitive as well. There's like loads of microtransactions about cool
Mm,
ass gear. Like you can get these angel wings or these dark angel swords, and it's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, you're still some stupid little fucking square Lego character that looks even more claps than Lego itself. I mean, don't get me wrong, Lego actually looks pretty sick, but like this is like worse than Duplo, right? Which is like the bootleg version of Lego. So yeah, Roblox. We only like. I mean, the rake mode is funny, but not because of the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be scary, and it's not scary. We just laughed at like sometimes we got
yeah.
jumped and scared, and we just laughed at each other because like, how did you get scared by like some stupid skeleton thing with like massive lipstick on? So yeah, it's trash, but we did have fun on it.
Okay, we yet to get a game above meh then. So we'll try with the next one. We've got the Last of Us series. You can split it into the two, or you can just put it as a series.
No, see, I think both the games are really good, and people are going to flame me for this, but I actually think both the games are really good. People hate the second one because they're like, "Oh, where Joel died?" And it's like, yeah, well, sometimes characters in games die. I hate that Joel died as well, and initially I hated Abby for killing him, but then you play as Abby, and then over time you learn kind of from Abby's mistakes. You learn how she is as a person. You learn kind of what Joel did to her.
Mm,
Kind of Joel killed her dad, so she kind of got revenge, and it just like it kind of makes sense. And eventually you get to the point where I was kind of on her side, to be honest. Like I enjoyed fighting Ellie. Like Ellie was sometimes the bad guy.
mm,
So I actually think it's amazing to be able to like get me to hate a character like that and then somehow turn that around throughout the course of the game is incredible. I
yeah,
cared about all of the characters. It was really good.
yeah. So well, we've got our first amazing. I wonder if any will get in goat. So
Maybe.
well, to be fair, I think that is like a testament to just good writing. They did kind of the same
Yeah.
with Star Wars Clone Wars because everybody hated Ahsoka in the when she first came into Clone Wars, and then now she's like the most loved character in Star Wars, like
Yeah.
hands down.
Yeah.
So
Story will always prevail in games and
mm,
TV shows.
definitely. So next up, talking about Star Wars, we have Star Wars Battlefront.
Well, like if you'd have asked me like, the very, very old version on PS2, I would have said
Mm,
GOAT because that was amazing.
yeah,
But the modern Battlefront just doesn't live up to its reputation. And like the thing is on its own, like as a game, like if they called it something else, maybe not a bad game. But it's a poor imitation of something that was amazing. But it's not bad, so I guess all right. It's better than COD anyway.
yeah. I've only played it a couple of times, and I feel like I feel like if any other game company made it other than EA, it would be good.
Yeah, it's not bad, but like me and Patrick, whenever we go on it, we only play hero versus villains because it's just
Yeah,
goofy to fuck around in.
yeah. Okay, right. Next game we have Cuisine Royale.
Now I only played that game because Dan and Wad really enjoyed it, and they mostly played it because the people on there were just really fucking stupid, to be honest. Like they don't know what they're doing, so it's really easy to get a win. Um, and I don't know. I mean, it's not a terrible game. I think they've even rebranded it now. They even changed the name, they
Yeah.
changed the art, they changed the gameplay. It's like called Cursed or something now without the U. So it's just creased. Oh, another loud car, fantastic. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it's not a terrible game, but it's not great by any means. So I'd just go meh.
Yeah. Okay, next we have the Borderlands series.
See, now Borderlands, like I actually do really like Borderlands, but like once you've done the story, all there kind of is to do is grind weapons and bosses and try and get slightly better rolls for your weapons to try and get
Mm.
slightly more powerful. And sometimes you can get insanely powerful, but it's just like there's nothing to do. And like I was doing the DLCs actually after they came out, and like they introduced these big massive maps and these side quests that just were kind of boring to be honest, and it started to feel like a chore just to even play the game. So I'd go all right because it's not a bad game, but it's just not entertaining after the first time around.
Mm. All right. Next
Borderlands
we
3 anyway.
have yeah. Next we have Gang Beasts.
Now that is actually a good little game. I'll give that a go because oh my God, there's not a lot in it, but what is there is so funny. Because obviously you got
Mm.
you can fuck around with friends and that's funny enough. But then you've got waves, and you got these little bot characters, and they come in all shapes and sizes. So you can have little baby ones, and because they're randomly generated, they sometimes have like fucking beards. So it's like gangster bearded baby called Ernesto coming at you, and it's like trying to. It's so funny just to like pick him up by his little shirt and kick him onto the tracks. Like get out of here, you little runt. And then like the next round, his dad's come because you have like these massive fucking guys that are like Hulk level, and they can punch you like literally across the room. But sometimes their AI doesn't always work, so they were trying to path their way to us and target us, and eventually they kind of grabbed onto us, kept knocking us out, but didn't know how to throw us off the roof. So they were just kind of held on to each side of us, behind us, and were knocked out, passed out on the floor, and it literally looked like they were raping us. And like, oh my God, I've got a video on it, and we absolutely died laughing. It was so funny. That is a good little game. I wish they would still update it. I don't know if they are adding more to it, but I
Not
really
sure.
wish they would. It's so good. That's a goat game. Actually, quite
Yeah,
interesting.
I
I was
think
quite
so,
entertained.
a lot of times games like that are like just some of the best to have with friends. Like Human Fall Flat, just stupid games like that. I think they're so good. Definitely. Right, next we'll move to Fortnite. Mm.
It was a good game back in its day, but it's just one of those games that the community has ruined.
Mm.
And I even used to play this game mode in it called Save the World, which is like the story game mode. But
Yeah.
like the company just kind of treated it like shit. Battle Royale would get all the attention and Save the World would get nothing.
Mm.
And eventually they actually stopped development on Save the World. They were like, well, Battle Royale's making so well, they didn't say this, but it was kind of obvious what it was. Battle
Yeah.
Royale's making so much money now that we've given up on actually developing any kind of story for the game. So fuck you all, goodbye. And they promised us kind of four regions. They only delivered on three. It wasn't even until after development. Like there's this lava in the fourth zone that like they have such low textures on it. Literally looks like beans instead of lava. It's like so clapped, and they only just updated that after development had stopped, and they were just like, yeah, okay, we'll stop making it look like beans so you can actually enjoy the zone. But yeah, now it's trash. But back in its day, it was a good game.
Yeah. All right. So next, I don't even know if you can class this as a game, but we've got Scribble.io.
I don't know if you can class that as a game, to be fair, but it does what it's supposed to, right? And you
Yeah.
kind of it's up to you to kind of have fun on the game, and it can be really fun. But the thing is, I'd say all right. It's not an amazing game, but it's not bad. It does what it's supposed to.
Yeah. Next we have Cyberpunk.
So the thing is now, Cyberpunk I actually really like because I kind of fire up that game. And I even do so soon. I even do so now sometimes. Like I'll just boot up the game in obviously in single player. Just play it on my own and kind of just get lost in the world because like there's this character design like I really fucking love. The missions, the atmosphere of the world. I just love to like open it up sometimes and just get lost in it. And the story
Mm.
could have been a bit better towards the end, but I still really liked the game. I'd say go. Despite all the bugs, I think it's still a really good game.
Yeah, that's fair enough
People,
then.
people are going to flame me for that, but I still.
No, it's your opinion. You're allowed to put it where you want. So next we have a game I've not played, Deceit.
Now, to see, I mean, I think I explained this to you last time, but that's like an
Mm,
Among Us, but 3D, and it actually came out before Among Us. At least I think so, anyway.
mm,
And the original company that developed that game actually stopped on it, and everyone was like, "No, we love this game." And
mm.
then another company has now bought it from them, and it's constantly updating it, and it's getting more content. They're updating the engine, they're updating the game, they're adding new like creatures because, like in Among Us, it's the imposter. In this game, it's the infected, and they turn into monsters in the night, and they have to drink blood bags throughout the day. And it can get a little toxic with the community sometimes. But you play a game with like you just your own group of friends, and it's
Yeah.
so much fun. So
Mm,
I would actually say that's an amazing game.
mm.
But it's just I wouldn't play it with random. I mean, we sometimes play with one random just to tease them, but not like you wouldn't go in it solo.
Yeah. Okay. Next, we have the Walking Dead Telltale series.
Now that's kind of varied by season because the first season obviously was really fucking good. The
Mm,
second season was a load of trash. The third season was a load of trash, and then the fourth season was really good up until the end where it shows that none of your choices matter. Because I mean, the game's been out for a while, so spoilers, but Clementine gets bit, and you're like, oh no, how I've raised AJ, is he going to kill me or is he going to save me? And no matter how you raise him, you can raise him like a little fucking hellion if you want to, and he will still save you, and you always live, which kind of fucking sucks.
yeah.
But yeah, I would say that game is meh, and the only thing preventing it from being in trash is that first season because the first season is fantastic.
Yeah, the first season's just like a classic thing, and it like I think
So
everyone's
good.
everyone's seen it, everyone played it. It was just it was really good at the time.
So good. But then the second
Yeah.
one is just pure trash. And so is the third. Third one's the worst.
All right. Next up, we have Rainbow Six Siege.
Now, that is a good little game, actually, but it gets to the point where the developers are trying to balance the maps for it too much.
Mm,
They're trying to make it too fair to the point where it's not fair anymore. Because, you're kind of wandering around attacking an objective and it kind of feels shit to attack. And then when you're defending, it feels shit to defend as well. It's not really enjoyable anymore. However, they did release that Outbreak mode for it. That is actually coming out as its own little like game mode, I think later this
mm,
year in September. I'm going to be all over that because that looks
yeah.
fantastic. I really enjoyed that mode when it came out because one of the things that makes Rainbow Six Siege so good is destructibility of the walls and the gunplay as well. So if they incorporate that into its own Outbreak game mode, I'll play that over Siege any day. Siege is not bad, but definitely could be better. I would say it's an alright game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you because I used to play that loads, like in like its first year of coming out, and now it's in like
Yeah,
its fourth year maybe, and
fourth or
like
fifth, yeah.
yeah, and I'll go back to the game and like the classic maps that I used to love, they've just completely changed it just to fit competitive, and I'm like,
Yeah,
but now I've lost the map that I love, like House. I
yeah.
used to love House, and now it's
And they've
completely
changed that
different.
one, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
it sucks. I loved House as well, and I loved like the Hereford base and stuff, and like
yeah,
the motorcycle place. But they changed all of them, made them too balanced. And plus, it's one of those games where you have to keep up with it 24/7, or if you jump into
yeah,
it randomly, you won't know what's going on. Because I
definitely.
jumped into it kind of recently, and there's a fuckload of operators that people are playing, and I'm like, what do you do? And then they do it, and I somehow die, and I'm like, what killed me?
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to keep up
it's
with
just
it
got to that
constantly.
point. All right,
Yeah.
next game we have Red Dead Redemption.
Now, story-wise, the game is fantastic. Online-wise, it is crap because they tried to create another GTA 5 online. And although GTA 5 online can be kind of fun now, it was made as a cash cow. Like the way it's designed is to be a cash cow. They make it extremely grindy because
Yeah,
they want you to be able to buy these shark cards because you think, oh, should I spend hours grinding this game so I can get the car I want, or should I just buy it instantly so I can just, get it now? And that's what they want you to think like. So they make it so grindy to the point where you're like, oh, I'm so sick of this grind, I'm just going to buy it. And we put up with that the first time around, and now they're trying to do it with Red Dead Online, and people just cannot be fucked. We're like, we've been through one
mm,
grind, we don't want to go through another. Fuck you. So yeah, it's an amazing game. The only thing preventing it from being in Go is that online mode.
yeah, definitely. And finally, we have Minecraft.
Now, everyone's gonna flame me for this, But personally, I've played Minecraft. I played it through a couple times, all the way to the end, and I just don't enjoy it anymore. There's only so many times you can start off on Minecraft, and I've done it about a million fucking times, where you get a mud hut, you get your basic tools, and then you die to like some creeper or something with your friends, and you never play the game again, or at least that map again. You know, it's a one episode series, and you never do it again. And it's just so boring to me now. A good alternative I like to play actually is Terraria. I think Terraria is so much better than Minecraft. So I don't think Minecraft's a bad game. I think I'm just sick of it. So I would put it in meh.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. We had a few goats in there. We had a few trashes in there.
I'm a game reviewer. It's in my nature to be super picky. Like even Shadow of War, I think, or Shadow of Mordor, a game I rated 10 out of 10. I still have gripes about. Like I gripe about everything in video games. Like I've been playing a game lately called Days Gone. I fucking love that game, but I still have gripes about it. Even Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I've not even played that yet because I've not had time to. But I bet you when I play it, I'm gonna have gripes about it. It's in my nature to be super picky about this shit now. So. Yeah, I'm going to complain about every game, no matter whether I love it or hate it. It's just the nature of being a reviewer.
Okay, well, that was the tier list, and so now I want to ask just like a bunch of just like quick fire questions. We're going to get through loads, all completely different, all completely varied, just to get to know you, as the title suggests.
Go for it.
I say they're quick fire, but like if you want to go deep into something, feel free to go deep into something. Okay, right. First one, we've got your first memory of gaming.
My first memory of gaming is when I got an Xbox 360. I went into game, saw Gears of War 2 on the shelf. I was like, this is a cool cover. I'll play this. I think my mum bought it me. Went back to my house, plugged it in, started playing, and I absolutely fell in love. Gears of War 2 was my first game. I still cherish the series to this day, although the Coalition has made a right mess of it. Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, amazing. From that point onward, is not very good.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, outside of YouTube, what do you like to do? Jobs or hobbies?
Well, I like to do hobbies. I mean, obviously, I kind of enjoy my job. Or at least sometimes I do. But what I really want to get into in hobby-wise is cosplay. Because I went to Comic-Con in, I think it was 2019 now, or 2018 or something. I went to October Comic-Con. And I actually really enjoyed it. The only thing that dragged me down about the whole event is that everyone else was in cosplay and I wasn't. So the next Comic-Con that kind of opens up, I really want to go in cosplay. So one thing I really want to get into is 3D printing my own costumes, gluing them together. That's something I really, really want to get into. But other than that, at the moment, my hobbies are gaming pretty much on YouTube. So, but yeah, no, that's a hobby I want to develop and I really want to get into. So hobbies is what I do in my spare time.
Next up, we've got what jobs have you had? Have you had many jobs like through your lifetime, or
more than I'd like? Yeah, because I started off. I mean, I've kind of worked all over the place. Like I worked at McDonald's, I worked at the original factory shop. Like I worked in this shitty fucking woodwork job, and I've had quite a few that I kind of bounced around. And the thing is, I'm a person like. When I was younger, if I hated a job, I did not stay there because I didn't need the money. I was living with my parents. I was just like, I absolutely hated it. I'd want to leave. I worked in a plastics factory for a little bit as well. I just went around all these manual jobs and I was like, I fucking hate this because it got to a point where I had a degree in IT, which is, supposed to be very employable, but I just could not find a fucking job. And I just kept having to do these manual shitty jobs that I knew that, not that I'm better than, but I'm more than qualified to do, I'm overqualified to be hauling these wood sheets around. And then eventually I landed the job I have now, which is a software tester, eventually hoping to go into video games testing, which I do actually really like. I'm doing quite well at my job, maybe even getting promoted soon. I don't know. But I'm doing pretty well. My boss really likes me. He says I'm doing, we have these meetings, these one-to-ones, kind of every, we're supposed to have them every quarter or every 2 weeks. But we've kind of only had 2 so far. In my first one, I got a glowing review. In the second one, it somehow got better. So by the third one, maybe I'm hoping to even be up for promotion. My boss is kind of trialing me with more responsibilities. Like he says I'm doing really well. So hopefully I get promoted soon. I do really like my job now. But it wasn't always like this. I was in really crappy jobs before. Like my woodwork job, I was on a 0-hour contract. So I wouldn't always get 5 shifts a week. I would sometimes get one or sometimes
Mm.
none. And, it was getting to the point where I was so miserable because I knew I could do better that, it's kind of like when I applied for the place I'm in now, I was like, if I don't get this, like, that's the end. Like, I can't fucking, like, stay in this life at the moment where I'm just stuck in this shitty job. Because, like, I was working in that wood job for like 9 months, and I only planned to be there for a little while. I only
Yeah.
found it through a fucking like job agency. Um, and I like had three opportunities kind of over those things, like three jobs that I really wanted to go for. Eventually, I applied for this place as a developer. I didn't get in. I was gutted. Then I applied for Aldi, and I was like, I got to the absolute final fucking stage, and then they turned me down, and I was like, oh, I was gutted. And then I applied for, even though like it may look like it took me two tries to get in.
Mm.
I failed some of the exams. My boss even said, like, in comparison to the other testers, I'm excelling. I'm almost up for promotion. So, it kind of goes to show, like, don't stop, don't quit, even if everyone's kind of telling you no, because, I didn't get in here first time, and the exams, if going by them, say that I shouldn't have got in at all, but I did, and now I've got, I'm becoming one of the main people in there. So yeah, I've had many jobs, more than I'd like, but I got through it,
Yeah.
and now I'm in a job where I'm actually really happy.
Yeah. Well, I love to hear that. Okay, so moving on. TV or film? Which do you prefer?
TV, mostly because it's digestible. Watching a film for me is a big commitment. I have to, set 2 hours aside. But 45 minutes, half an hour, even 20 minutes on, if I'm watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it's nothing. So yeah, TV shows, they're more digestible. It's what I
Yeah.
watch when I go to bed, and I like long TV shows.
Yeah. Fair enough. Anything you're watching at the minute?
At the moment, I think I'm watching Snowpiercer. I got to the second season of that, and I'm actually really enjoying it. But I stopped because now I'm watching it with a friend. Um, and I think I'm rewatching Prison Break as well,
Mm.
because that's one of the shows that I really like.
Yeah.
But I've got like a load like on my list that I kind of just rewatched. Like one of my favorites is Dexter, but they took that off of Netflix, and I hate them for
Mm.
that. Um, but yeah, no, I got loads of little shows like that I love. But those are the ones I'm watching at the moment.
Mm. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Favorite.
actually, sorry, before you can move on,
Yeah.
Travelers is an honorable mention. I really love that show. That's
Mm.
really good because they've got time travelers. The people in it, they play themselves, and then eventually they get taken over by travelers. Time travelers from the future, and they're supposed to be obviously different people.
Mm.
But physically, there's going to be no change. There's no visual change. But the acting is so good that you can
Yeah.
always tell, like, between the people because they act so different. And it's just so good because you can tell, like, people are from
Yeah.
the future and when they're from the past just by their acting. And
Mm.
everyone's good in it. There's like no one is bad in that show.
Hmm.
It's so good. Oh, I
Yeah.
love it. Anyway, sorry. Carry on. Next question.
That's all right.
Back to that show.
Next question was favorite music artist.
Now everyone's going to rinse me for this because, like, obviously I really like Taylor Swift, but I like her as a person. Like, I really love her music. Don't get me wrong, but like, the person whose music I like more is Oscar Scheller. He's kind of, I want to say small artist, but he's not really. He's got like 400,000 monthly listeners, or maybe it's 1.4 mil. I might be doing him injustice or something, but he's a really good small artist that I love listening to, and somehow his like lyrics like always speak to me as well. Like he'll be singing a song about something, and I'll be like, actually, this really relates to my situation right now. And there's even one of them, 1%. That relates to my situation a little too much, so it kind of like gets the particular verse and it hurts a little bit to hear it. I'm like, ouch, memories. But no, Oscar Scheller, I really like his music. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Favorite moment you can remember from one of your videos, if you can.
Yeah, I've got a lot of favorite moments, but it is hard because we record quite a lot. I just laugh at the dumbest shit. I think I told you about this last time, but it's not edited yet. But I think a moment coming up, I think on Dan's channel. Me, him, and Kyle were playing 7 Days to Die, and you can get this little sledge gun where you can knock people over. And so it was at night time. Him and Kyle had triggered a horde of zombies, and they were running away from it. Dan gets out his sledge gun and pushes Kyle over. Obviously, it takes a few seconds to get back up, and so by the time Kyle gets back up, there's already a fucking horde on him. And he just quits the game because he's like, "I'm not dealing with this shit." And then he joins back. And then we do the 7th day, which is supposed to be the horde, and we set up on this roof. And then, don't you know it, Dan gets out the sledge gun and pushes Kyle off the roof, and Kyle falls to the horde of zombies. And it's so funny. I hope Dan edits that and puts it like in a video, because oh my god, I died laughing at that.
Yeah,
so
definitely. Okay, next. Next? Yeah, wow, next. Next, favorite holiday or destination you've been to?
I haven't been on a lot of holidays. Like, I usually just kind of went to Spain a lot of the time. I went to France once, so I think France by default because it wasn't Spain. But like, it's something I really want to do more. Like, I really want to get out and get traveling. Put some money aside. Book some holidays off. Like, I want to really visit some friends I have in Ireland. But the only thing is, pandemic, can't do it yet.
Yeah.
So I've got like 3 days reserved at work that I have like ready to put on something. And so at some point I'm going to book those 3 days onto a weekend, spend 5 days in Ireland or something with my friends, because I think that would be really fun. It's just waiting for the pandemic to be over. So Spain by default, but hopefully more to come. Not
Definitely.
Spain, France by default.
France, yeah. Okay, favorite subject at school?
It would have to have been IT, because like IT wasn't my favorite subject at the time, but it was always what I was good at. Like, when I applied to university, I applied to do criminology, and I flunked out. Like, I got really bad grades. I just kind of stopped, and I reapplied at the university to do IT instead, because criminology, I wanted to be in the police and stuff, and be a detective. But over time, I was like, well, I'm bad at this. It was learning about Hitler and history, and it was like not really what I applied to do. But IT, I'd always been getting. Like, I look back at my grades, I was like, if I don't want to do criminology, what the fuck do I want to do? And I look back at my grades, and I was like, hang on, I got an A star in IT here, I got another A star here, and I got a distinction star here. Why am I not doing IT? I'm really good at this. So I started doing IT, and it's what I do at home anyway. So. Yeah, IT, I suppose, because I used to use this little software called Scratch. I think you said you used Scratch as well, with a little cat sprite that you could have, and I made this super complicated maze game, where you'd fight robots. There was this massive storyline to it, and you could shoot bullets and stuff. And I loved Scratch. I just hate programming, but I loved Scratch because you could just drag the pieces together. But I just hate programming. But yeah, no, I fucking love Scratch. So IT, definitely, just for that little fucking game. But yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. All-time favorite game?
Mass Effect 2. I think you even knew the answer to that one. Everyone does, because it's just easy. Like, Mass Effect 2 was game played. I was younger. Mass Effect Legendary Edition's come out now, so I can't wait to actually have some time set aside to replay that. Because I was going to play it kind of day it came out, but I just have not had the fucking time. But yeah, it was one of the first early games that actually had so much choice in it. The characters were really good, way ahead of its time. It would put most games today to shame. It's kind of why I'm so critical of games these days, because I know how good games can be, I know how amazing they can be, and when they're not, it's disappointing. So yeah, Mass Effect 2, way ahead of its time. It puts other games to shame. The thing is, people who don't have Mass Effect 2 as a favorite game of all time usually haven't played it. So I'm not saying everyone should love Mass Effect, but it is really good. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please do yourself a favor. Pick up the Legendary Edition now that's been remastered. Play Mass Effect 2. Treat yourself.
I was going to say, because not to disappoint you, but I have not played any Mass Effect ever.
Well, if the Legendary Edition came out, it's all 3 games remastered. Now is the perfect time to pick it up and get into it.
I did see the trailer for a few years ago when the other one, is it Andromeda? Might be.
Andromeda. No, don't play Andromeda. Forget that. That one's trash. Ignore that one.
All right.
But no, Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 amazing.
Yeah.
Andromeda's
Okay.
garbage.
I'll have to check them out then. Right. Star Wars, Marvel, or none?
The thing is, I like both, but I'm not really into both. Like people, you have massive Star Wars nerds or massive Marvel nerds who know everything about Batman or everything about Luke Skywalker. I
Batman.
enjoy them both. Yeah. Oh, stop it. No, see,
Batman.
that's how little I know about it. Like, fucking if Patrick or Kogan watches this, he's gonna fucking rinse me for that. But like I know so little like about Marvel. Like I know a decent amount about Star Wars. But like I'm not really into a lot of them. Like the game that I know, or the kind of the universe, I guess I know like everything about. Like some people do with Marvel or Star Wars is Mass Effect. I know everything about Mass Effect. Like, I had this codex, and I shit you not, I read every single fucking entry. It used to have primary and secondary entries, and the primary ones it would read out to you in the narrator's voice, and I fucking loved it. And I still read the secondary entries anyway. Like, oh my god, I know. Like, I used to. You ever play Quiz Up? That little app you can get on your phone. You go
Yeah.
against people. Yeah, well, I used to have that, and I was I shit you not, I absolutely thrashed everyone on Quiz Up. I was the fucking god. They stood no chance, and then they updated it to include all the Andromeda lore, and I still know the Andromeda lore, but I still fucking hate it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was big Mass Effect nerd. So none, I guess.
Well, that's fair enough. Okay, right. Normally, when we come to the end of the podcast, I like to ask everyone what does success mean to them? Like what's success in life? But I've had a thing, and I want to change the final question. I want it to be a little bit more personal to the person, because I think everyone kind of has a similar definition of success. So you're going to be the first person that I try this question on. So, Mr. Blue, regardless of money or time, you can do literally anything with your life. What are you going to do?
Well, see, regardless of money or time, like, the thing is, everything I strive for right now is eventually to kind of make people happy, right? Like, I create content because people like to watch it. My favorite thing about the content is reading the comments, seeing how much people watch it. And, the only reason I even want to do well in my job is so that I can have money, and the only reason I want money is so I can live comfortably and maybe even help other people. Like I want to be kind of rich enough to the point where I can just give someone 100,000 and it's nothing. It's not even a drop in the bucket. I want to buy my parents, a nice car, a beautiful house. Like out of everything that I'd want to do, I'd want to make people happy. And people are going to be like, oh, it's bullshit. You don't really want to do that, but it's like. Well, no, it's not. Because, like, ultimately for me, like, obviously I don't have a lot of self-esteem. I don't feel that I deserve a lot of stuff, but there are some truly wonderful people in this world. And it's like, if I can ever get any measure of success at any point, like, I want to be able to share that with people. Like, I want to be able to, be one of those rich guys that donates a huge amount to charity. I want to be that, rich guy that helps other people out, the philanthropist, like, my ultimate goal, like regardless of any of that, is just to make people happy. That's why I like to, try and make people laugh. It's just why I do everything that I do. Even sometimes I'm a bit selfish about wanting to make other people happy. And even it doesn't make sense, but it's genuinely what I want to do. I want to help people. I want to be happy. Like seeing other people happy, making them happy, makes me happy. So that's what I want to do, really.
Yeah, it's a great answer, and I think as well, one thing I've just picked up on, which is kind of a testament to like what you've just said and everything, is like when you were talking back about kind of growing up, you said you didn't really have the best sort of relationship with your parents, and yet still, with what you've just been saying, you've mentioned that you want to buy them a car, or you want to financially support them, and I think that's a testament to you and kind of what you believe in with that.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you for a second time. I really do apologise for having to redo this podcast for pretty much a third time.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, but I appreciate you coming on, and it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, I think this one was the best one anyway. To be honest, I'm glad we did it a third time.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
this one was the best version. So hope you all enjoyed.